think being able to pick them up is too good. We gotta go with that. Like if when they're nesting, you can run over and pick it up and move it to a new nest, or like Jake was talking about, where they're half back in the shell, and you carry the little half shelled guy around once he's mature.
Well, you could hop around on his
Yeah,
leg,
his
just stick
little
out
feet,
the egg.
Yeah.
My
I think
question
that's
like
great.
that is that going to be a minion that is actually damageable when you're carrying? Like my only
Like
problem
a red
is
shell
the
in
pickup.
Mario Kart, where enemies could hit
Yeah,
it and it
just-
would take damage for you, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I was going to do that for eggs. That she could pick up eggs, and as long as you're holding one, you haven't placed it back down. You have the
like a
defensive,
shield.
the defensive ability of that.
Well, I like that. Like you're talking about with the heel. Like if you threw an immature egg, right, a not hatched egg,
Right.
it would give a different buff than if you threw the hatched guy.
Okay.
I like the utility of that. That like gives him secret extra skills. You know, kind of. hidden
Yeah,
in
yes,
there.
but could we make a single cone that you shoot a bunch of guys? Like think about
Yeah,
this.
no,
Say you get a
I
mature
get
guys
you.
and you shoot a bunch of guys, and one of the guys will defend an ally, the other one will attack an enemy. And it just depends on who's in the cone.
Who's it hit?
Yeah.
Who it hits.
That could be interesting
You could
too.
do that.
Just
Yeah.
roll on all eligible targets.
Yeah, roll, just
instead of
determine who
enemies
it's going to be.
or allies.
Keith, do you have any inputs with either of these ways of doing it?
I did like the concept of having the dual skills, where if you use it on an ally, it does something different compared to using it on an enemy, and then using it on an egg affects how how the critters react.
Okay. So run me through that again, because I'm still not like no. I just
Well, it's like
I know I understand like the concept behind
Yeah.
that, but like is that from a stationary egg or is that?
yeah, with the destructible eggs. So then you were technically like painting them, and that would change how they are. Like
Okay, so you
could have
paint
a
them-
defensive one or an aggressive one.
So how would you paint them? Like what would be the physical mechanic of it? Would be like meleeing it or?
Well, yeah, like your other two skills, one's offensive, one defensive, like red and blue or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so you
paint
just
it the color.
spray the eggs. So
That's
if you
a
have
good
multiple
idea.
eggs with it, it affects them. We can just change their colors.
That came up at the panel.
Yeah, I know. I remember
Tint their personality.
Yeah, I had one that's just based on the number of damage done inside the zone
Right.
versus the allies in the zone are healing.
And then with skill swaps could actually affect those. We could change out the behavior slightly.
That's cool.
So you can give them vengeance or something.
Right.
So what that would mean does is we need to have different things to tag, either based on the skill hit or based on a trait where your melee attack will do some sort of advantage to them. The other part was thinking that the melee attack could also be a thing that increases maturity. So I know we had talked before about a
bunch
builder,
of whack on
a
it.
builder who whacks on something
Yeah.
and will increase the rate it harvests.
I
Well,
like the
you have to
active
take-
part.
Well, you have to take a lot of time to invest. Like, you think your whole team's running around trying to get the plunder ball, and you're just sitting there whacking on an egg. Like, you better get a pretty good reward when that thing hatches, because you've been sitting there for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't want
Yeah,
three
but
to
if you
be
do that
crazy.
in Conquest,
Right.
if you get a good reward and you're doing that in Conquest, you're like, well, nobody's taking this point now.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's
I don't
So-
like the idea of just sitting there and whacking on
Yeah, it's be a big investment like
Very
Google, where you
boring,
want to be able to kill the guys who you hit with.
it. Right, yeah.
Which reminds me, we got to increase the explosion radius of Google's bomb.
Okay.
1 unit. That's all I ask. 1 unit. I'm gonna write that part down.
okay. We will forget that.
Sean, do that now. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't have to write it down now.
Okay, good. I'll remember it, Sean.
big check
You don't
mark.
do it.
It's now 1 unit shorter.
So yeah, that's the Keith way of doing things. Okay, so let's. You want to make a decision tonight because we're probably going to end up making a couple of versions of this guy. Because to be honest, this is a crazy thing we haven't done before, and it's even crazier than. To be honest, it's crazier than Jennifer, in my opinion. I know you guys probably don't think that, but I've just
He
been
does not transform.
it does not transform. Well, for animation, it's not crazy, but in terms of how it's fun in both a kind of chaotic atmosphere where you're running around and a place down the thing atmosphere for like Conquest. And laning, it's going to be crazy for laning too. So, what we want to do is, I just want to come up with a couple ideas based on the panel, and I know you've all memorized that panel. About the other skills.
Nightmares every night.
Every night.
I've
okay.
totally memorized it.
So I think we need a heal, I know that we had talked about. They had talked in the panel, and don't get angry if I get it wrong, or get angry if I get it wrong, and post about it everywhere.
Yeah.
They had some sort of line attack with the unicorn horn that would damage enemies and heal or buff your eggs, right? It was one of them.
I think so, yeah.
You think so?
It was some kind of damage or heal or something.
Brilliant. Some kind of damage or heal. Good idea.
I think that's about what we got though. That's pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there was an AOE.
There was an AOE, some sort of AOE bomb. I was thinking some sort of similar to how Sprout does his nesting thing as an AOE would be kind of cool, where you could nest on something that's in a distance. You don't have to stand right next to it to heal it.
I like the heal being an AOE like that because you get the utility of being able to throw it on an egg to grow it as you run off.
Yeah, that's actually is probably pretty good. Where you don't have to channel it. You just kind of let it grow
And then
at the
it would sit
distance,
there
which is
and
pretty cool.
do the thing.
The other skill is the real question. Now, I know we had a bunch of things thrown out at the panel, but to be honest, I'm a little worried about a melee support who can't contribute much in melee. And the only thing I want to do, the thing that made me think of this whole throw the babies at the enemy, because it's hilarious, but it's also a cone attack, which would make you be close to the enemy and start dealing damage.
Right.
Now, naturally, it's going to be a Platimus, so it's going to do venoms, tail slaps, and all sorts of stuff, but we need something to make its melee interesting. It doesn't have to necessarily be a support role in terms of the melee, but it has to be more interesting
Is
than
melee
the base,
skill?
or just basic attacks. Even if it's a skill or if it's basic attacks. I don't really like Uzalo has the disrupt, which will stop people from just bursting on him, and he can just kind of basically disrupt people and then eat them all up because they can't stop him. Eat a sandwich on top of that. But something like that would be great. But to be honest, I'm besides throwing babies at stuff, which is what my usual go-to is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of drawing a blank on it. But my real question is, how do we work poison into it? Because them's is venomous, Platimus is.
Okay, well, so I think this is a skill where we need to, and I think we look at this with number 2 as well, the healing field. We need to change what the secondary effect is based on. Are you throwing it empty-handed? Are you throwing it with an
Yes.
unhatched
No,
egg?
I
and
agree.
Are you throwing it with hatched eggs?
Like,
Yes.
do you need it? Yeah. Do you need little guys following you around to throw these things?
Well,
I think
it
you
has
could-
to be no.
It has to be no.
Like,
Basically, it has to be no. And it has to be some
doesn't
sort of
have
staff.
to be because like detonate does nothing. If you have does.
That's true, but I think you're going to want to have some sort of. I don't know if it. My big question is crowd control. Do we want to have the character have crowd control, or do we want the babies to be some sort of crowd
What you
control
could
where
do
it
is-
stuns them and just
well,
bites their eyes
you could-
out?
I mean,
babies
so
are
you can
not
throw
doing
down
that.
3 eggs, but you could also just have 3 guys that follow you around, like a charge,
Mhm.
and each time you use the skill, it throws one, and they recharge over time.
That's kind of cool too.
And then so like as you're running, it, like poops out another egg, and then the guy hatches right behind you and just follows you around. And then when you use the skill, it shoots it out.
I kind of want you to go back to the eggs to knock them out, though.
To have to collect.
I feel like you have to
your
kind of.
own
I feel like
guys.
you kind of have to collect them. Like
Well,
I don't want
because
the
your ally
eggs.
could pick it up too, right?
I don't know. I think.
Well, you could do that,
I think
yeah.
we'd make it a trait where only she could pick it up. She. I figure that out. Internet, figure it out. I don't know.
Do a vote.
Fan fiction.
I'm pretty sure I have both written in this book right now. Frankie and Sheldon were written, as also Super Puss was written in here. So
Super Puss, that doesn't sound wrong at all.
no, that's
Then a James Bond villain.
you know I can say these things as I didn't come up with any of them. So
Ah, Super Puss, we meet again.
so
Okay, I think we need buffs that are really good buffs, like rage on the heal. If you're carrying, a hatch.
what's that? You're so far away from the mic. I'm not.
I'm
gonna hear
super
you.
far. Am I super far away? Okay. I want to add really good buffs, like Mobile Fortress.
Of course.
That's a killer buff.
So
Yeah.
Chawsome has another idea. He says his tail should be a ground smash.
Oh, like
Scathe.
Scathe, essentially.
Okay, yeah, pretty much.
We could do something, but we keep doing all that.
Yeah.
You know.
That's 2 cone disrupts. that
Yeah,
we
we-
have. We don't.
I really wish
well,
we could.
does it have to disrupt?
Well, but the thing is,
I
if
mean,
you
that's
attach the kids to it, it becomes a new skill.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So we'll put a pin in that. It's something we'll test because it's pretty easy for us to test. But let me put that down.
I'd rather see him just give buffs than have a debuff or a crowd control, just to kind of mix it up.
You'd rather have him not do anything particular or fun in a cone except damage people, unless or except heal people.
Right, but I mean, we could do it like salvage strike, right, where it's a guy, he heals, a nearby ally gains that heal over time.
We could do that too, because we haven't done it.
Then we can change what that buff is based on what you've got with you.
Yeah.
So then you could say, oh, here's 150 energy or something.
I just think it'd be cool
energy return is missing in the meta.
Yeah.
I think if allies could consume the eggs.
It'd be cool if you hit a guy with a cone, and he was an ally, and he passed a kid to him.
Yeah.
And the kid not like just gave you either a passive energy buff, or the kid could be it could even be a minion who's like an actual guy who's alive and who has tied to that character.
Yeah, that's what
and
I was
he can now
about.
can now attack people, but you've got a dude with you.
But I'm saying it depends on who you attack. Like so you have 3 little guys following you, and you do a cone and it actually hits 3 people. First guy hits an enemy, does damage to him. Second guy hits an ally. That now is his little pet that follows him around for like 20 seconds, 10 seconds or whatever.
Okay.
And then if it hits another enemy, it does damage. Or
I like how
depending on who it hits, it does different
I guess
things.
the real question is, since we all like throwing babies at things,
it's gold.
That's good. But I guess the real question is, what does it do besides throwing babies? Like if you got no babies on you, and you want to take care of somebody who's near you, you've got to offer some sort, or just buff people that are near you. To be honest, I think the nesting is the buff. I think nesting will be great as a heal, and maybe it's an energy return as opposed to a heal. Maybe it's just straight energy return. It would be pretty cool too.
It'd make it efficient for him if he was by himself.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of nice. If you just got, like, if we did it just straight up like Siphon Swarm, but you get energy and you pass energy to nearby allies.
That'd be pretty cool too.
And just completely do it based on number of enemies hit. I like what you're talking about, how it has super utility of, oh, my team will all just meet up and I'll just hand off all the people and then
Just
go
like
lay new eggs for when those die.
Yeah, for when Sprout puts that a turret and then puts the healing field, everyone just clusters up
Yeah.
Right.
and does that thing.
And then you run over and hand babies to everybody.
You hand babies. That's yeah, we could do that. No, do we want to cap the babies? I think we need to cap the babies.
What the number that you can
Number.
have?
I think we got to cap it at 3, and then you can
I
have
would cap it at 4.
4.
Or 5. Just because if you have a 5-on-5 and you get your whole team there and you throw them all babies to your other 4 teammates.
So you can't pass more than one baby at a time?
No, I would say no.
I think that's fine.
So cap it at 4.
My question is this: is if you do that and then somebody else has a Platimus as well,
Can you stack babies?
can you stack babies? I say no. I say babies
I would
don't
say
stack with
no.
babies.
Yeah, I would say no.
So you couldn't go past them.
Babies from opposite
That's why
teams.
I think 3 could be a good cap, because you could actually run 2
If there's
Platimuses
one on the other team, you could have the babies fight each other,
and then cancel each other out, just antimatter, and then just nuke the whole level,
Yeah.
and it's a draw.
Divide by 0.
It's our first draw in the whole game. That works. Let's do that. So that's
I think we could call baby fights a draw.
baby fights.
Yeah.
Okay.
That also sounds like a good video game.
All right, so let me go down my other stupid ideas. So my other one was the babies that are on her would provide her with additional melee attacks that would just attack things that if she's in melee range of somebody, she makes an attack, all the babies make an attack too.
That's
So you
cool.
stack a bunch of baby attacks on her so that she can be actually a melee monster if she's holding them all.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty interesting.
Like
And it would be
that.
cool if we
Like a trait.
gave the babies all their own unique poison, so they would all stack a bunch of poison. I know we use Rattlesnake Badge a lot, but
You do it well. It'd have to be very small.
okay. Another one I talked about with my vision guide was the tailspin.
Spirit animal?
Yeah, spirit animal. What was his name? Terry, my spirit animal.
I don't know
What
why.
animal is he?
It's creepy
That's-
that you have to ask me on the
He's
internet.
several
and everybody
animals.
wasn't here
Several animals.
for the conversation.
My vision quests involve a bathtub and a toaster.
Yeah, it's true.
So another one we talked about was a cool tailspin, like just a circular attack tailspin, and I thought that could maybe be something that, because having a giant tail is pretty sweet. So maybe the tailspin could incorporate fleeing the babies or something, so it could not be just a cone attack, but
An AoE.
But an
anybody-
AoE.
Yeah, you could do that.
all right. So
That's even more versatile than the cone.
because that
I
could
would
throw
say-
people's back at you.
You've already got to be doing like a lot of you're doing your own little strategy.
Okay.
alongside the game mode with this character so far.
Yeah.
Because you gotta
Farm your
You're-
little
you're
egg.